Welcome to the Explainer. So, if you're an expat living your absolute best life out here in Salinas, Ecuador, well, you already know the beauty of coastal living. But to truly connect with your neighbors and share those amazing daily experiences, you gotta have the right words. Today, we're bringing you the ultimate guide to talking about your daily coastal life by mastering a very specific and sometimes tricky part of Spanish grammar: reflexive verbs. We're going to take what seems like a dry textbook concept and turn it into the exact practical language you need to thrive here every single day. Let's get into it.
Okay, let's dive right into this. I really want you to ask yourself right now, how naturally can you actually describe a typical day in your life here? Like, if you wanted to tell a local friend about your day, from watching that gorgeous sunrise over the ocean to winding down at sunset, could you do it without stumbling over your verbs? You see, describing our routines is how we build genuine connections. But in Spanish, routine actions require a slightly different approach than what we're used to in English.
Section 1. How reflexive pronouns work. To describe your day with real confidence, we absolutely need to look at the mechanics first, because these are the foundation for everything we're going to cover today. I actually like to call this the mirror metaphor. So think of reflexive verbs like literally looking into a mirror. The action you're performing reflects right back onto you. In English, we might just say, I wash my hands. But in Spanish, the structure works more like, I wash myself the hands. It sounds a bit funny to us, right? But the subject performing the action is the exact same person receiving the action. Grasping this whole mirror effect is absolutely crucial for English speakers trying to hit that next level of fluency.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how the pronouns visually pair up with their subjects in this color-coded map. When the subject is yo, or I, the mirror reflects back as me. Tu becomes te. The third person forms he, she, they, or you all. Well, they use se. And nosotros, or we, uses nos. I really want you to lock this mental image of the table in your head because, honestly, it's the anchor for the rest of our explainer today. Section 2, Morning Verbs in Action. Let's put this grammar to work, shall we? We're going to walk chronologically through a typical Salinas morning and look at the exact verbs you're going to need from the moment the sun comes up.
Okay, a lot of expats get these two confused, but look closely at the difference here. Despertarse is just the physical act of waking up, literally just opening your eyes. For example, yo me despierto a las 6 de la mañana means I wake myself up at 6. But levantarse, that is the action of physically getting up out of bed. So nosotros nos levantamos enseguida means we get ourselves up right away to kick off our coastal morning. They're two totally distinct steps in your routine. After a nice, hot morning run on the malecón, you'll definitely need this next one, ducharse, to shower. Notice how the sentence completely changes based on who is showering. Tú te duchas con agua fría. You shower yourself with cold water. But yo me ducho con agua tibia. I shower myself with warm water. You can really see our mirror pronouns te and me doing the heavy lifting here to clarify exactly who is getting clean.
All right, once you're out of the shower, it's time to get ready for the day. Peinarse is to comb one's hair. In our example here, ella usa un peine y se peina el cabello frente al espejo, we see the third-person pronoun se in action. She's using a comb to comb her own hair in front of the mirror. Simple enough, right?
Finally, before heading out the door, we have vestirse, to dress oneself. Here, we can see how to talk about others getting ready around you. Los niños se visten con sus uniformes escolares uses the plural reflexive se. The children dress themselves. Notice how seamlessly that se pronoun tells us the kids are performing the action on themselves? It's a real game changer once you get the hang of it. Section 3, Evening Verbs in Action. Let's move the chronological timeline forward a bit. Imagine your day in Salinas is winding down. Maybe you finished up your remote work, or you just got out of your afternoon Spanish classes. Let's look at the verbs you need for the evening routine. And this brilliantly illustrates how it works for groups. When talking about a group, nosotros acts as a perfect mirror. Lavarse is to wash oneself. The sentence reads, Antes de almorzar, todos nosotros nos lavamos las manos con jabón. Look at how the nosotros subject matches up perfectly with the nos pronoun. Before sitting down for a big seafood meal, we wash our own hands. It's a perfect reflection. Then it is time to relax. Sentarse means to sit down, or, literally, to seat oneself. See how the verb changes based on who is actually taking a seat? Yo me siento is for myself, but ustedes se sientan uses se for the group. Whether it's a chair or the sofa, that reflexive pronoun is always, always required.
Now, as we get closer to bedtime, the nighttime routine begins with cepillarse, to brush. Tú te cepillas los dientes 3 veces al día. Again, we clearly see the te pronoun used alongside the subject tú. You brush your own teeth.
Just like waking up, going to sleep actually has 2 distinct phases in Spanish. Acostarse is the act of physically laying down or going to bed, like yo me acuesto a la medianoche. But dormirse is the actual transition into sleep, as in el bebé se duerme muy rápido. The baby falls asleep very fast. Trust me, mastering the nuance between getting into bed and actually falling asleep instantly elevates you from a beginner to a much, much more fluent speaker.
Section 4. Fixing common expat mistakes. Now that we have the vocabulary down, let's shift over to some troubleshooting. As an intermediate learner, you're bound to make a few slip-ups. We all do. So let's address the most frequent hurdles expats face and exactly how to fix them so you sound completely natural.
Okay, this is a very, very common error, saying yo se acuesta. Why does this happen? Well, usually learners memorize the verb with the se attached to the end of the infinitive, like acostarse, and they totally forget to change the pronoun to match the subject. If the subject is yo, the mirror absolutely has to reflect me, so the correct form is yo me acuesto.
Here's another one you hear all the time. Mis hermanos se vistes. In this case, the speaker got the pronoun right. Se is correct for mis hermanos, but they conjugated the verb for tú instead of ellos. Remember, both the pronoun and the verb conjugation must match the plural subject, so the correct sentence is mis hermanos se visten.
So the crucial point is really highlighted in this next mistake. Ella me sienta. This is a classic mix-up. You literally can't have she performing an action that reflects onto me if it's a reflexive verb. The whole mirror metaphor means the pronoun and verb must strictly align with the subject. Ella requires se and the third-person conjugation. Therefore, it absolutely has to be ella se sienta. Section 5. Real-world conversations. All right, let's transition from the mechanics of grammar into the really fun part, actually using these verbs in the real world. This is how you connect with locals in Salinas, moving way beyond textbooks and into real, flowing conversations.
Take a look at this real-world example. En mi casa, todos tenemos una rutina diferente. In my house, we all have a different routine. When you tell a story like this, you can beautifully string these reflexive verbs together. You can say things like, I wake up at 6, but my parents get up at 5:30. My sister showers fast and combs her hair. It creates this vivid, flowing narrative of a bustling household.
To really get you out there practicing your B1 conversational skills, I want you to try using these prompts with a language exchange partner or a local friend. Ask them, what is your exact morning routine? First, I wake up, then I shower. Or ask, how does your routine change on weekends to break the monotony? Are you a morning person who wakes up with tons of energy or more of a night owl? These questions are just perfect for sparking authentic, engaging discussions. Now, if you're feeling a bit more advanced and want a solid B2 level cultural debate, try tackling this question. How do you think technology affects our resting routine? Nowadays, many people cannot dormirse, fall asleep quickly, just because they're scrolling on their phones in bed. This is such a brilliant way to use your new reflexive vocabulary to discuss modern lifestyle habits with your friends here. To wrap things up, I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought. If you could drastically change your daily routine to improve your quality of life here in Salinas, what would you change and how would you organize yourself? Think about your ideal coastal day and try to mentally construct that perfect routine right now using your new reflexive verbs. That is all for today's explainer. Keep practicing those verbs and we'll see you next time.